Do we have everybody? I have just state attorney name. Is he coming? There he is.
There you go.
Okay. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for being here today as we come together to address the ongoing issue of domestic violence. The theme of today's event is safety, hope, and healing, and that captures the heart of the work that we do at Harbor House, and it's also the mission that we share with many of our community partners. Safety is the foundation of everything that we do. Harbor House responded to 8,202 hotline calls this past year, offering immediate support to individuals in crisis. We sheltered 408 adults and 421 children, providing a safe haven for those escaping danger. Beyond the shelter, our community services helped over 5,000 survivors across the community. None of this would be possible without the unwavering support of all of our partners. The Orlando Police Department and Orange County Sheriff's Office respond quickly and compassionately to domestic violence calls, ensuring our survivors' safeties. The City of Orlando and Orange County provide crucial resources that allow us to fulfill our mission. The State Attorney's Office holds abusers accountable, and the Clerk of Courts helps our survivors navigate the court system. Together, we are a united front, and we're creating a powerful network of protection and support to those that are in need. Beyond safety, we are building hope. A significant amount of work that Harbor House does is in the schools, and this year, we've already impacted the lives of 1,000 children in Orange County Public Schools, teaching them about healthy relationships. We know that breaking the cycle of violence begins with education and investing in our youth. Finally, healing is at the core of our mission. It takes time, it takes resources and support. And at Harbor House, we're offering counseling, legal advocacy, and economic empowerment services to help survivors rebuild their lives. Last year, we sat down and did over 7,000 safety plans with survivors, giving them the tools that they need to protect themselves and their families. This ongoing journey from crisis to recovery is just part of the partnership that we have with our community resources. And a part of this partnership is the Orange County Domestic Violence Commission. Its end goal is to provide multi-sector recommendations that assist with tackling domestic violence in our community. The commission serves as an advisory capacity to assess the gaps that exist in our community, identify significant issues, and recommend solutions. 2 years ago at the commission, we started talking about a really big idea. And today, I'm really excited to announce that we will strengthen our community response to domestic violence even further. Thanks to a generous donation from the DeVos Family Foundation, Harbor House is going to be collaborating with the Family Justice Center Alliance, a program that's part of Alliance for Hope International. And we're going to begin planning a Family Justice Center right here in Orange County. The Family Justice Center model was first launched in San Diego. It brings together law enforcement, prosecutors, advocates, therapists, civil attorneys, and community volunteers under one roof. By co-locating services, Family Justice Centers create a one-stop shop for survivors and their families. This model is proven to reduce homicides. It's proven to improve victim safety and enhance collaboration amongst all of our partners. Without a Family Justice Center, a domestic violence with children will travel to 20 separate community providers, retell their traumatic story 17 times, and complete more than 300 pages of paperwork within 45 days of the incident. With a Family Justice Center, that's one stop, one appointment with childcare and someone to help you with all that paperwork. Right now, there's only one Family Justice Center in the state of Florida, and that's located in St. Petersburg. Through our new partnership, we aim to bring this life-saving model here to Central Florida. And together, we're going to explore the possibility of a centralized location where survivors can receive the comprehensive services that they deserve. The first step is going to be a study tour and strategic visioning, where we'll bring local elected officials, policymakers, and community agencies together to begin the planning process. This initiative represents a really exciting opportunity to deepen our partnerships, build on our collective strengths, and also offer more robust services to the survivors and the families that we serve. Thank you all so much for your ongoing dedication, and I'd like to bring up Mayor Buddy Dyer.
Thank you, Michelle, and good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. The City of Orlando has been a longtime partner of Harbor House, and we're grateful for the organization's important life-saving work. And I'm proud that our community puts compassion at the forefront of all that we do. This extends to our collective commitment to survivors of domestic violence. We believe that no one should have to tolerate abuse of any kind. Because of this, and because of our trust in Harbor House's leadership, we continue to support the organization's efforts each year. We provide safety through the work of the Orlando Police Department, which you'll hear more about from Captain Miglio in a few minutes. OPD works every day to protect survivors and prevent future violence. We provide hope by funding the Camp Hope in Florida, by educating healthy relationships in schools and after-school programs. And we provide healing by funding initiatives and programs for Harbor House through grants like the Emergency Shelter Grant, which covers the essential costs like insurance and maintenance to help Harbor House operate and provide shelter. Community Development Block Grant, which helps fund a case manager dedicated to working with survivors and helping them stay safe and providing the support they need. And our Community Investment Program, which supports children programs both within the shelter and beyond. So if you or anyone you know is experiencing domestic violence, know that our community cares for you. We believe you. We will help you get to safety and provide you with the resources to get beyond the bruises, whether they're external or internal. So I encourage our community to know the signs, to encourage prevention, and assist victims and their families. We're all here today because we're committed. Now I'd like to call on Sheriff John Mina.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, good morning. I am proud to stand with all of our partners up here in our continuing effort to eradicate domestic violence from our community. So during Domestic Violence Awareness Month, I want to make it clear to our survivors that we are here for them when they need us. And even though domestic violence is a crime that occurs behind closed doors many times in the shadows, it's important for us to raise awareness about domestic violence. It's important that our survivors and their neighbors or family and friends come forward when they see the signs of abuse. And we implore people, just call 911. If you hear that scream and you're not sure what it is, or you see a bruise, or you see any signs of domestic abuse, just reach out to us so we can protect our survivors and that they can protect their children and their pets. So at the Sheriff's Office, we respond to between 3,000 and 5,000 domestic violence calls every single year. This year, in 2024, we responded to 3,800 domestic violence calls. We're proud to partner with Harbor House. We have a victim advocate from Harbor House that is here with our detectives at the Orange County Sheriff's Office so that we can provide their services to the survivors right away. So as we look to the coming year, we do have a new tool to help protect our survivors. So with the passage of the Protection of Children and Victims of Crime bill, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement has created a statewide lethality assessment so that we can help protect our victims. So here at the Orange County Sheriff's Office, we've been doing that for over a decade, but now there will be a consistent statewide assessment that all law enforcement agencies in the state of Florida will have to complete. And so this will help us determine the danger to our survivors with that standardized form throughout the entire state of Florida. So I am confident that all of us moving forward on the stage and our shared commitment to protect our community from domestic violence and bring these abusers to justice. So we also, at the sheriff's office, and I know the same holds true for the Orlando Police Department, we want to make sure that their survivors' experience with law enforcement, from the initial 911 call through the response by the deputy or the officer, and then the interaction with the detective, make them feel safe, believed, and taken seriously, so that we can protect them, their children and their pets, and also bring justice to the abuser. So all of us here today are committed to working together to bring these crimes out of the shadows, enhance services for survivors, and hold our abusers accountable. And now I'll turn it over to Captain Wanda Miglio.
Good morning. Thank you, Sheriff Mina, and thank you, Harbor House of Central Florida, for having me here today. The Orlando Police Department is committed to fighting crime, removing violent offenders from our streets, and partnering with programs that support survivors of domestic violence. In 2023, our officers responded approximately 5,400 reports of potential domestic violence. We also saw 8 homicides related to domestic abuse. Those numbers highlight just how crucial it is to educate members of our community about the resources available to victims. OPD is proud to have a domestic violence response team, recognized as a best practice by the Orange County Domestic Violence and Child Abuse Commission. The DVR team allows officers to share advanced techniques, identify primary aggressors, and recognize safety issues for victims. Team members also proactively follow up on no contact orders, helping to prevent reoccurrences of domestic violence incidents. These efforts by law enforcement are essential in ensuring the safety and well-being of those affected. I want to emphasize the vital role of each of you plays in amplifying awareness and supporting those who have experienced domestic violence. Together, we can create a safe environment for all members of our community. Thank you for your ongoing support of OPD and commitment to the important cause. Now, State Attorney Andrew Bain.
Good morning. I want to thank Harbor House of Central Florida for the incredible event and the team that's behind it. The City of Orlando, the Clerk of Courts, our law enforcement partners and agencies, and all other community partners who tirelessly work to support survivors and victims of domestic violence. Our dedication reflects the strength of a united community working towards safety, hope, and healing. Today, we are here to shine a light on the very real and pressing issue of domestic violence, but also to discuss new tools that will help protect those at risk. Last year, my office restructured and expanded our domestic violence unit that I like to call our homicide prevention unit into a standalone unit because we recognize that specialized attention domestic violence victims and survivors deserve. We have worked hard to improve our processes and inside the unit and provide the prosecutors and staff with specialized training. Over the past year, our Domestic Violence Bureau Chief has hosted more than a dozen trainings in areas such as strangulation cases, evidence-based prosecution, and other strategies to combat and counteract the instances of tampering or intimidation that often affect survivors' level of cooperation. Today, I can tell you that these improvements have led to significantly better outcomes and are strengthening our ability to hold offenders accountable in our domestic violence cases. Our misdemeanor domestic violence unit recently secured a maximum penalty of 2 years of consecutive 1-year prison sentences against a defendant who was a known domestic violence abuser and had a long history of abuse and intimidation with his girlfriend. Typically, domestic violence cases rely heavily on the victims testifying. But in this case, we use creative legal strategies and other available evidence to convict the abuser without having to rely on the testimony of the victim, crippled by her fear of years of abuse. Our efforts are keeping her safe for at least 2 years so that she can get the help she needs and break that cycle of abuse. In the past year, our felony domestic violence unit secured 133 years worth of prison sentences for 5 domestic violence abusers and for attempted murder cases alone. We are finding additional ways to support our victims. Through our partnership with the Victim Service Center of Central Florida, we now have crisis care counselors on site in our downtown Orlando office to provide immediate support to our victims. We recognize that the emotional trauma victims must relive when they come to our office, and what we give them must be the sustaining support that they need to push forward and, again, break that cycle of abuse. There's also new legislation that goes into effect today aimed at expanding and protecting victims of domestic violence. Senate Bill 758 strengthens penalties for misuse of tracking devices and applications, making it a third-degree felony to use such devices to monitor others or their property without their consent. Nearly 1 in 6 women and 1 in 17 men have experienced stalking at some point in their lives. In many cases, stalking is used as a tool to control by an abuser. And these tracking devices have unfortunately been used as tools to control and bring fear in domestic violence cases. Together with law enforcement, we will ensure this legislation effectively is enforced to protect our survivors. Helping survivors is not just my job. It is my personal commitment to this community. It is about providing the support and the tools that we need to reclaim their freedom and feel safe again. We must stand with them during their toughest times, their moments. Remind them every single day that they're not alone. Each survivor's healing journey is different and unique, and it's our responsibility to help them pave the way. Moving forward, we will continue to work together. Every organization and every individual here plays a critical role in creating a supportive environment for our survivors. Together, we can foster a community where safety, hope, and healing are a reality for our survivors every single day. And I'd like to bring up Madam Tiffany Warren Russell, Clerk of Courts.
Thank you. It's always an honor to join Harbor House and our other justice and community partners in elevating awareness against domestic violence. I am Tiffany Moore Russell, your Orange County Clerk of Courts. This year, I also have the pleasure of serving as the president of the Florida Court Clerks and Comptrollers Association. Each day, the Clerk of Courts is here to serve those affected by domestic violence and abuse by assisting them with obtaining injunctions for protection, or what is commonly referred to as restraining orders. Today, I am here to share with you also another tool that our office and clerks of court statewide are rolling out today to assist survivors of domestic violence. That new tool is what is called a Hope Card. It's a free wallet-sized card that survivors can use to verify with law enforcement that they are covered by a protective court order. During this year's legislative session, the Florida legislature passed a new statute to implement this Hope Card program by the 1st of October, and we are pleased to carry out this program to support domestic violence survivors. These cards help a survivor show law enforcement they have a final protective order without having to carry all of the paperwork from court, then everywhere they have to go. The Hope Card is issued once a final injunction for protection is ordered by the court. The cards can be issued for final injunctions of protection against domestic violence, stalking, repeat violence, sexual violence, dating abuse, dating violence, or abuse or exploitation of an elderly person or disabled adult. All a survivor has to do is request a HOPE card with the clerk of courts in their county where the petition was originally filed. At the Orange County Clerk of Courts, we will provide the HOPE card via email. Or if someone would like a printed card, we can provide that on request. Starting today and in the future, we will update our website at www.myorangeclerk.com, where they can also access their HOPE card. HOPE cards will identify the name and birth date of the person protected by the court order, the name and birth date of the respondent, and certain information relating to the protective order, such as the case number, type, and date the order expires. A HOPE card is valid for 2 years after the date the final order is issued, or the expiration of the restraining order, whichever is earlier. Even someone who has had a final judgment of injunction for protection order before October can request a HOPE card from our office. The clerk's office is honored to lead this effort to provide yet another tool to help those affected by domestic violence. Our purpose at the Orange County Clerks of Court is to support each other, care about our community, and service our customers. To that end, our goal is to see that this new program is another step to help create a safer community with hope and healing for survivors.
As you can see, it takes a community. With legislation that is pointing in the direction for lethality assessments to be done across the state that are the same, with new statutes that are holding abusers accountable when it comes to stalking and tracking devices, and tools that are helping survivors stay safe. And we're really excited about rolling out the HOPE cards to our survivors. So thank you all very much for being here today. And at this time, we'd like to open it up for any questions.
When it comes to the Family Justice Center, can you talk a little bit more about that? How beneficial will this center be to the community and domestic violence survivors?
So it's a proven model that started in 2002. And so there's a lot of research that goes into the more that someone feels protected, the more that they are willing to stand up for themselves and also hold their abuser accountable. So that's the first piece. The second piece is improved communication. So when we have all the different community partners that are helping work on a case from the legal side, but they're also helping someone work on an individual on the healing side, the communication between partners also increases. And so the likelihood of someone staying safe and not going back to an abusive relationship escalates. And then depending on the different communities, and they're started all over, there are different types of issues. And so some family justice centers have medical units inside of it. Some of them have prenatal care inside of it, depending on what some of the local issues might be. And the family justice centers also have domestic violence, sexual assault, and human trafficking in them. And so it would give our community, if we end up doing it, a really great resource for a lot of different survivors of violence in our community. Yeah. So we are looking at doing the initial study tour, which would be having the consultants come in, and that would be in January. And that's a 2-day study tour. They would be looking at all of the different processes, different procedures, what we have existing in Orange County. And then the second visit they come out would be a large strategic visioning of what does it look like to actually have a family justice center here in Orange County. And then after that, it would be bringing everybody together and saying, okay, we would like to do this, or it's something that we can start small and grow. And so that would be the process. Thank you.
Okay, if there are no other questions, then I think each person up here on the stage is willing to be able to do one-on-one interviews pertaining to what they discussed and shared here today. So thank you all for being here. And I also have